live, work, golf, stay. Oh, this cow's over here just chilling. Trying to lie down for the day, maybe. So we have a pretty strong wind. It's a pretty decent sized tree limb, too. That's where I remember now, is 7-Eleven. So we're dropping off some 7-Eleven goodies out in the middle of Justin. I guess the last place I was at was Justin. I think it's like further than that, though. Well, we'll get there in a minute. Yeah, it's Rome. We're going back to Rome. Yeah, that's right. So that's where we're headed. I guess show some of it. Nature vlog today. There's a buffalo though. Buffalo in a field. You don't see them every day. Well, I guess some people see them every day, but most people don't. I'll tell you what. Looks like they have another driver with the drop off at this one. Probably from another company. does Godard do anyway? Something here and Breathless. I like that Bowie thing, that Bowie photo where he's like something. I'll do it in a minute. Just give me a second. I can't think of the album, but I think it was when Bowie does this, like, if you know that album, leave a comment, but he's like some kind of move or something like that. Oh, there it is. I was looking for that flag. See if I can reach down and get it. The wind's so strong, I kept the door open. That's what the field looks like off of Cleveland Gibbs, September 21st, 2021. Now, if you're a band member, that's a really good place to play. It's called the Chop Shop, and they have live music right there. It's right next to this Reno's. There. You can see the sign of Reno's. One thing that's great about Whataburgers are 24 hours a day, and you can try our new peach shake. Praise the Lord. Great artist back in the day. Kind of made his debut in Austin, Texas. Never be a songwriter like him.
Mayor Humdinger and his kitties.
I don't know who Mayor Humdinger is in the Kitties, but thanks for telling me, Ryder. One time I called my dad when I was in Chicago, and I called him. I said, I had driven up there from college. I said, Dad, I think I'm going to try to go be a mime in Chicago. He said, well, it's a cold, cold world. Turned out to be a Blaze Foley song. Anyway, picking up some Burger King, flaming that grill, 1954, since 1954. So what are Keep It Real meals?
I'm sorry?
What's a Keep It Real meal?
A real deal?
No, a Keep It Real meals.
Okay, hold on.
That's okay, don't worry about it. All right, thank you. Fly together. Then they return. Whopper and some onion rings. You can just smell the flame grill just kind of getting to you, bringing out the senses. Buy me, buy me, buy the burger. It's always in like red and red tone colors. I thought it was cool that there's also a McDonald's flag and an American flag. Well, looks like we're going to Rome. We're going to serve Rome some McDonald's. Be there in about 22 minutes. Time is the distance between two different places. Who said that? I actually know who said that. It's in the play Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Time is the distance between two places. I had a different, I think. Time is the distance between two places, yeah. It's true. It takes time to go from point A to point B. That's how you measure time. From one point to another. Tom Wingfield in Glass Menagerie lets people know that time is a difference. Take two. Tom Wingfield in Glass Menagerie lets people know that time is the distance between two places. Or something similar to that, if you know exactly what he said. But Tom Wingfield's character talks about time. It's the distance between two places. It takes time to get there. Tom Wingfield says, "I didn't go to the moon, I went much further. For time is the longest distance between two places," or something similar. Yes, that's what he says. Tom Wingfield in Glass Menagerie says, "I did not go to the moon, I went much further. For time is the longest distance between places." We hear this monologue, I guess, or duologue spoken to the audience when Tom has already moved out and moved on with his life. He's recalling a memory, or several memories, of his family, of his mom and sister, and how his family was. Glass Menagerie is a really, really good play. But he was introduced to Broadway as a playwright pretty much with that play. And that's what he says, "I did not go to the moon, I went much further. For time is the longest distance between places." I just thought it was an interesting thing to say to the sun, even though he was talking about the moon. But it's an interesting thing to understand poetry and understand the poetic way of speaking. And when you get in situations like I'm in right now, you start to understand what he was talking about. It takes time to get there. And it's the longest distance is time. It's kind of what he's saying at times. So it is poetic to say time is the longest distance between places, because to get there, it does take time. That's why it's a beautiful thing to say. It always takes time to get there. I was in a safe place. Mansions provided me that. But I was alone. I had the guitar. I had my writings. I had my stories. I had my vlogs. I found out about important people. For example, like Jordan the Lion and Adam the Woo, these people that can go out there and make it. There's different ways that they do that. I recalled my memories of school in New York and traveling. It was a place that was held for me. I called it the upper room because of the staircase going up. And I started a play called The Unauthorized Occupant, which is based on Linda and I and what we're going through with dealing with YouTube and all the things. I began a play, as you can say, which I think is good enough. Whether I'll continue it and stuff, that's usually the play that does that. The play will call you to do that. So I was alone, and I was by myself. I guess the same way of saying it. And then Linda came along. We are all broken people. Even the most perfect saint that's out there is going to be broken. And it all has to do with what your point of view, I guess, is another way to change the way of saying. But we're all broken people. And the most broken person is no more broken than any other broken person, you know? I guess what I learned from Linda was that during all this, you can have a sense of humor. Oh, the grass is greener on the other side. And that you don't need to fear. And we decided to start a band, the Linda and Cole Band, and start writing songs and put it on SoundCloud. Now, I already had like 600 songs on my SoundCloud. And then eventually I stopped that subscription to SoundCloud. And it just shows the highlighted songs that we wrote. Like Wait was one song. 10/20 1977 was one I wrote that she helped me on. A few of them she wrote, like Bagels in New York and stuff like that, but that's still somewhere out there. It's basically in Berlin, because that's where SoundCloud comes from. So it's out there somewhere. It can be accessed. And SoundCloud's still there too. Now we have a Drooble, which we can still post on Drooble. But I guess I learned to have a sense of humor and just, not worry so much. I get worked up on the little things, even though this is kind of a big thing. But when Linda arrived, I was no longer completely alone. Although she wasn't a roommate, she would just come to visit. And she was very good at cooking and speaking and just being there, That's probably the best thing that you can do for somebody is, just be there. I did ask her to try to find sobriety, to try to use this time to find sobriety, and there's distance in that. So time is the longest distance between places. Well, that's also with sobriety too. It takes time to get there. I don't know if her mom particularly ever found that. She's no longer here with us, but that's, Linda's mom. She's her mother is no longer around. But Linda, I guess, has taught me. I don't know if I can put it into words right now, but I can certainly say that she's a real person, just like everyone else, and she does crave sobriety and to be under the light of God and grace. She does crave those things. She does want those things. A drunk never wants to be a drunk. They may claim they do, but that's wrong. A drunk craves sobriety. What I'm fortunate enough now for what I'm going through is I'm fortunate to know that I'm, not an addict or anything like that. I don't smoke, I don't drink. So those are the fortunate things. And one thing Bob Lavelle taught me when I was at the New School, he says, your home is your body. There's some truth to that. It says in the Bible that your body is your temple. So this is kind of a message to people out there that have a problem with addiction. You can learn through this. I'm sorry that you have to see all these deliveries of food and everything. But remember, in the end, when we go to heaven and we're one with the Messiah, there will be a feast. And a feast involves food. So these little drops and these deliveries are symbolic. When you see someone eat, you're reminded of that feast that we'll have one day with the Messiah. It's part of that kind of thing. I was raised Baptist, so I've got a religious component. Anyway, I hope that made sense to you. I don't know if it was poetically clear as Tennessee Williams, but it's what I can express to you now, and to say that there one day will be a feast in heaven, and we'll be there with the Messiah. And that's something to celebrate. So we have certain people that we learn from, and they bring about a light in a certain way, and we see that and we go, I like that, right? More of that. Well, there's a reason we do that. If you ever read the Bible, you'll always find what's called a living word, which is different than other written, published work. It's different than any other playwright or poet or songwriter. The Bible is actually living. It's a living word. So that is where we learn about life. These messages are important, but they're going to lead to the Bible. They're going to lead to God. Because That's how I was trained. That's how I was brought up. And that's what I believe. Not everything's going to go your way, but the Bible will be there to learn about that. And God will be there too. You should be worried if everything's going your way and you're getting all the things that you crave. That should worry you. Remember, we're only here for a blink of an eye. One thing God will say to you when you serve Him for the remainder of your life is He'll say, "You knew me, so you may enter." You don't want Him to say, "You don't know me." You want Him to say, "Enter, you faithful servant. You good and faithful servant." You know what good is. And you know God. Everyone knows God. Even those that claim that He's not there, they know God. And all of this is about God. So you may enter. I invite you. I just missed the turn. Sorry about that. I invite you. You may enter. But what you really want to hear God say to you is, "You may enter, you good and faithful servant." I'm not talking about this world or a place in this world. Nowhere down that road, nowhere down that road, nowhere down that road, right? I'm not talking about this place. I'm talking about the next place. You won't hear it in this life. You'll hear it in the next life. You will hear, if you follow the Lord, one day you may enter, good and faithful servant. So, this is our time to prepare. I'm very grateful to Linda because she provided a lot of things at the time. I was like basically living off like hot sauce packets and stuff like that when I met her. It's pretty rough. I want to get some of this in a minute. Anyway, I'm very grateful for Linda. And I always will be grateful for Linda. I was doing that. There's some kind of rabbit or something in there. Anyway, we're off. Well, we're going onward. No, we're still on. So, anyway, thanks for watching. This would be a good place to end the vlog, but I'll probably have an after vlog too. I send up after vlogs, so vlog and after vlog. Y'all have a good one. I'm sure you're sitting there thinking what I'm thinking. It's quite the view. Suggest if you want to do something in this world, you go out and you actually do it. And I would suggest if you're choosing a career, make sure it's something that you can actively do every day. As an actor, I waited around, I think maybe almost 30 years for a big producer or director to say, okay, you're ready to shine. I would suggest against that, because now we have YouTube. If you want to be an actor, know YouTube. Know YouTube, because YouTube, when it showed its face in this country, which remember, it started in a country where the First Amendment states that you have the right to speak freely. And if you're an actor or performer or a songwriter, you can use YouTube every day. And it's logged. It's there for you. And no one knows 50 years or 100 years from now if it's just as brilliant as any of the great producers that you're counting on to let you in to the great Hollywood, right? You have it right there available for you. Now, not everybody's going to do this. Not everyone's going to do 700 and something vlogs, or I don't know how long it'll go. But you can do that. You can begin now. And that would be your career. What does career mean? Career means to run. It means to go with it. And I'm able to do this because YouTube allows me to do it. That's what I suggest you do. Know YouTube. Know it well. It'll be the leader in all of entertainment. It's also a big leader in business. Most all businesses, if they're going to show something about their business, they're going to use YouTube. YouTube's your friend because you have the right to start right now and go day to day. And listen, being an actor, just like what Tom Hanks said, it's an honorable thing. It's a very honorable thing to be that. You're almost like every man and representation of something. Your struggle is being presented. That's what I suggest you do. Know YouTube. And use YouTube well to your advantage daily. Start now. Kevin Costner once said to me, or he said to a lot of the students at the new school when we spoke to Kevin Costner, he said, well, you know, anybody can go out there and get a headshot and call themselves an actor. Kevin Costner's not going to say that about YouTube. This is film and media that's going on. He's not going to say, well, oh, anybody can just start, you know, their own YouTube channel and call themselves an actor. He's not going to say that. A headshot can't really speak, right? It's just a photograph of what you look like. This is action. There's lights. There's action. There's a camera right in there. It makes a difference. We're going to look at a train. And don't fear. We're still going to look at the train. And we're going to hear the train. Now let's do some math here. Who has more power? I just want to ask you a question about power in Hollywood, because now MGM is owned by Amazon. Who has the most power when it comes to a company in this world? Apple. Apple has the most of them all. Google's like somewhere in there too. You're talking about a studio, they're nothing compared to the power of what Apple may have, or what Google may have, or even Amazon. Someone's doing a live stream right now. This is the future. This is not completely Hollywood, but it towers over Hollywood. Movie stars are looking up to us. Things flip-flop. Don't worry about the funding. If you want your story to be told, you have access to it. Here's 0.5 right here on focus. Kind of gets a little darker. And then there's 1 point. You'll learn it as you go. And there's 3 times right there. You have something important to say. Today or this evening is your time. It's whenever you want. I have not been given this ability most of my life until the last few years. And then I realized I found a way. a long time ago, we had this VHS company called Blockbuster and DVDs. They eventually became DVDs, and then eventually they were doing the same thing Netflix was doing.
Police reported ahead.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder if Chase is on the case.
JP Morgan Chase? Anyway, let's go back to the story. So, Blockbuster wasn't doing so well at one point because online streaming took off. And Netflix went into the office. They were a smaller company, but they were doing pretty good. They were increasing in value and doing good. They said, well, listen, we'll allow you to buy us for this amount of money. And it wasn't that much. And Blockbuster, I think, laughed at them. Now, I don't know if Netflix wanted Blockbuster to change their name to Netflix. I think that's what it was. They said, you can be the owner of our company, or something like that. I don't know exactly how it went, but what ended up happening is Blockbuster laughed at them. Like, oh, give me a break. And basically kicked him out of the office. Now, here's the problem. Blockbuster went under. And now Netflix is doing great. Right? Or they were. Let me ask you one question. When was the last Netflix movie you watched where you thought it had an impact on you, like one of Adam the Woo's vlogs? Or any vlogger out there? It's just something I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying, YouTube is gonna whatever, but they are online streaming though. YouTube, you can buy movies on YouTube and do all the same thing. But anyway, it was just something I was throwing out there because Netflix is, it was a smaller company, and then it took over Blockbuster. Well, it didn't take over it did take over Blockbuster, but Blockbuster did not succeed because of they were founded in VHS and DVDs. You could go into a store, and that would be nice to bring back and everything, but streaming took over, and then Netflix ended up succeeding and becoming one of the most, I guess it was probably one of the most successful entertainment venues that you could go, and you still get a DVD today, you have them mailed to you, or streaming. Anyway, I think the future of all this entertainment, I think it's eventually just going to just turn right into YouTube, because Google's behind that already. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out here. Today's September 21st, 2021. I'm just saying, I think that's the direction it's going to go. Because I don't turn on Netflix anymore. I turn on YouTube. Netflix is just a bunch of chick flicks. I don't know. And then I think Miranda, Haters Bake Off. I'm sorry to say it the way she says it. Haters Back Off. That did go on to Netflix. Miranda. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say is that I think YouTube is going to become probably the leader, and not only film and media, but just digital video alone. Right? I think it's going to be YouTube. And guys like Adam the Woo struggled just to have his name out there. Same thing with Jordan Line. They struggled pretty intensely. It's tough work. This is like a tough moment, but I think it's going to probably be YouTube. But Netflix is still around. The reason I'm saying that is because I went ahead and dropped my Netflix. I canceled it. Look at entrepreneurs like Ford and people that just kept going on and on and on and on, right? They revolutionized stuff because, well, it's continuation. That's a cool looking moon though. But you know what I'm saying is we have the right to throw out opinions and everything. And so since I did drop my Netflix, now I must search YouTube for, storytelling and things, So I think that YouTube is not only revolutionizing the way that we access movies, but it's really what it's revolutionizing is kind of the way that we want to see a story unfold. if you're watching vloggers like Adam the Woo or Jordan the Lion, you're seeing the founders of storytellers, not necessarily just vloggers. These are changing the way that we tell stories and the way that we want to view things. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Because I think that storytelling is going to change. In Hollywood, it may have to come to the YouTuber to understand that change. Or why else would it be going on? So I was thinking about Hollywood, Netflix, YouTube, and all that stuff. Now I was thinking about like QT hot dogs, which is kind of where I'm headed. They are different than 7-Elevens. I mean, you get a bigger bite with the 7-Elevens, but the QT dogs, the one thing that I like about them is they roll those puppies 24 hours a day. Anywhere you go. Kenny Power style. You can wake up at 4 in the morning, either in New York City, if they have QT at New York City, or anywhere like Southlake, Texas. You walk yourself right into a QT and they're not rolling those dogs, right? You gonna make some people mad. They roll them dogs at QT all night long, baby. I just put it this way right now. I'm glad I'm not in Hollywood right now. They roll them dogs all day and all night long. We got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. Eastbound. Look at old Bandy run. Long ways to go and that short time to get there. Eastbound. Look at old Bandy run. Any Grey Poupon, my friend? What's the actual Grey Poupon thing? You want some Grey Poupon? Grey Poupon. Alright, well, anyway, I got one of the ultimate brats. They're just, I don't know, a bit better dogs. I would suggest the ultimate brat when you go to QT. I feel like the ultimate brat hot dog is probably just a little bit better than the other ones. And I'll, of course, let you watch, you know, me eat, at least take a bite of it. Just to see if, you know, I'm telling the truth, you know, in the matter. I usually do in most cases. Although those puffy cheese things at Buc-ee's, when you're hungry, they're good. Anyway. So it looks like we got an assignment to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they are going to be on time because, well, I got myself a hot dog. It's in there. I did get a vitamin water. I like these, you know. Change of pace. Don't worry, hot dog. We'll get to you. Ain't it a Buffalo Wild Wings world? Jesus, he wants to go to Venus. Leave on fall behind. Anyway, so we got it. So he sits on the porch, blows up balloons. He wants to go to Venus. Leave on fall behind. Did you know there's a Venus, Texas? Just messing with it. That'd be a cool title for either an album or maybe a name, because I had something happen to me when I lived in Euless, Fuller Weiser Road, right over here. I took a Nutri-Grain bar, accidentally put it in my pocket. It was a 50-cent Nutri-Grain bar. You buy one, get one free, and I had bought some ramen noodle and stuff, and I bought all that, but I accidentally put the Nutri-Grain bar in my pocket. This is like when I was 27, and they come running after me. The clerks come running after me. They ended up getting my mountain bike, so that Nutri-Grain bar cost me like over $200. A mountain bike was like $200. But anyway, Fuller Weiser Road would be a cool title for a song. thought of a funny thing to say, since Cole Spivey's channel has a show on it called Please Subscribe Show. You know, like if you met someone that was, I don't know, it's like, man, I don't care about your millions of dollars, and P.S., get out of my way. Another thing, P.S.S., please subscribe show. You know, please subscribe to the show. I don't know what that means, but anyway. So this is basically Stephen King's go-to band, or one of his good bands, Ramones. It doesn't sound like them in this song. I listened to it on SoundCloud if you want to look it up. I am a Ramones fan as well. I mean, Ramones are really kind of the front face of punk. They went into it really quick. Like when they first started playing, their like songs were like not even a minute, and then they started ripping it up later on with Rock and Roll High School. But I don't know. I gotta go pick up something at 7-Eleven, then drop that off at a doorstep. So please pray for me. Well, you know what I mean. I kind of like this shot right here for some reason. I used to live in this town, right back the other way out there. I had a bike. I used to work at the 7-Eleven we're about to go to. You know, I might vlog that. Yeah, I worked at the 7-Eleven right after 9/11. I came back from New York, and I got a job at the 7-Eleven right down there, and I had a bicycle, and I would go over to these apartments by the fall, which is a Federation Aviation or something. It was called on American Way. It was American Way. That was the hotel at the time. Was not a hotel. I'm sorry, it wasn't a hotel. It was an apartment at the time. The apartment at the time was I think they were called Camden Oasis. It was a long time ago. Pretty sure that's the name. It was a very long time ago. Now they have a new name. So someone bought some Cheetos, but this is the 7-Eleven I worked at right after 9/11. Right here. So I worked here right after 9/11. I came here, I think it was like the end of around 2002. It was summer of 2002. And my friends saw me in the Village, a couple of my friends, Elok and Modi. I think Modi's a stand-up comedian now. And he said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to work at 7-Eleven by the airport. I was like, okay. And I had this computer on my shoulder. I went to this 7-Eleven right here. I worked here. I had it was a mountain bike, and I would bike it down this way to these apartments way over this way, right over here. And I did that until like 2003 or so, and I started working for a theater out in Fort Worth. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of donuts. This was the actual 7-Eleven there. It's off of Trinity by Centerport, or by the airport. Codberry and Cheetos, or Cheetos and Codberry, something like that. Oh, okay, yeah. Just that's fine. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. You too. Yeah, I used to work here. It looks about the same. Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's like right after 9/11, 2000, I think like going into 2003, the summer, 2002. A lot of fun. Anyway, I didn't know that guy, but I let him know. Yeah, I used to work this one right here. But, you know, actually, they got mad at me for selling discounted milk to single mothers. There was also a burrito place. There's still a burrito place now. It's called the Gyro Burrito House now. But my mom used to get me these burritos. I wrote a play about it. It was called, I think, I want to say maybe 9-minute window or something like that. And that's the burrito place. She'd buy those burritos for me. I wrote the play. I gave it to a guy named John Johnson. He was an actor at the 13th Rep Theater in New York. And he kind of got onto me a little bit because of the setting. He was like, when you're doing a play and you introduce a prop or you introduce something, make sure you put it in the setting. You know, he was like giving me all these notes. His name was John, but he was an actor. I stayed with him for a while. He's a real great guy in New York. Anyway, John, if you're watching this, hey, what's up? It was about a burrito. The play was about a burrito. It's a real play. I think it was called 4.5 minute window or 4.5 window. It's like, yeah, it's 4.5 minute window because you look through the window of the microwave for the burrito to be done. My mom would take the burritos back. They're the best burritos in the world. They're like gourmet burritos. My mom would like take them back she worked at American Airlines. So she'd bring them back to me and I'd be over there like, oh, thank you for this burrito, because I hadn't like eaten all day. It was this huge burrito. It was a gourmet burrito. And I decided to write a play about it. It was about this burrito and this guy getting the burrito from his mom and going to the microwave, and the microwave came down like on a, you know, like on a lift onto the stage, you know, and then, you know, it's the whole theater thing about a gourmet burrito. And John was like, you know, it's pretty good. You just need to learn. This was a guy, John Johnson or something. I should know his name. He's an actor. He's a really good one too. He's kind of got the John Malkovich thing going on. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. So about the 4-minute window. That's what it was called. If you find the play, I promise you, I will give you a handshake and an autograph. 4-minute window was the name of the play that I wrote, that I gave to John. John lived kind of by Central Park, actor, auditioning all the time, real emotional. He played Jack Kerouac at the 13th Rep in a play called The Last Call, which was about Jack Kerouac. He actually played Jack Kerouac. I saw it too. It was a good production. It's about to turn green. Just give me a second. Come on, green lighted. All right, well, we're waiting. Ooh, man, this is a long one. Got nothing but red lights here. There we go. Anyway, John, I want to say his name was John Johnson or something like that. Something similar to that. There's a neighbor in bar. Thank you. All right, well, it could be a wrap. Been a busy night. These are some long ones. Got some of my antibacterial soap, my vitamin water right here. And I was gonna show you the Grey Poupon that goes on this QT hot dog. Okay, so here's the hot dog. Let's see if we can get this open here. There we go. And here's the Grey Poupon. Excuse me, but could you pass the Grey Poupon? No, that's not how it is. That'd be funny, though. Pardon me, but could you... Is that Grey Poupon? Could you pass the Grey Poupon to me? So, a millionaire coming to get a hot dog at QT. Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon for the hot... Oh, dear. I'm about to lose it here. A minute, there we go. Come on. Come on, Grey Poupon packet. Squeeze out. There we go. Move that over this way. Now we're going to attempt to take a bite while focusing on what we're doing. I'll show you what happened. Thou shalt not have bread alone, right? It kind of slipped out of my hand, but anyway, that's what happened when I was trying to film and eat a hot dog, but I've done it before. To recover the hot dog here. Anyway, you have a good night, and going in. No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's the ultimate brat. a pretty good hot dog. Anyway, if I vlog more, which, we'll see. I'm probably heading back, but we'll see. All right. So the Astros won. Okay, good. Well, it's been a long September 21st. We've been everywhere from the inner city of DFW area to way out into the country of maybe even Ponder. I don't know if we went to Ponder today, but we went we went past Justin into Rome. We usually end up in Rome at times. Anyway, when in Rome, Texas, that is. Y'all have a good night, and please subscribe. You can hit the notifying bell, and that keeps you in the loop when the next video surfaces. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your comments. Please leave a comment. I love comments, and watching the videos helps the most. Of course, subscriptions help. So tell your friends about it, and y'all have a very good night. And the vlog is over. I wrote a screenplay called The Projectionist. A couple actors out in Dallas helped me with some of the development, and we went into possibly filming a feature with a Samsung 8 and a Samsung 7 and a mic. It was it's a microphone. And I used the song, I believe, in the script, and I also wrote to the song, too. It's a really good song by Desire. I think Chromatics were in it, too. It's kind of like Brian De Palma, sort of kind of blowout a little bit, not really. Brian De Palma style, kind of thriller, about an actor who goes out to Hollywood. He meets this famous actress named Ali Starlings. And his brother's out there already, an actor, but he's a projectionist that's from Fort Worth, and he goes out there and he gets in some trouble, and I think he gets kind of obsessed with her, and then they throw him in jail. He gets out and he goes to rehab, and in rehab he meets another lady, an Asian lady that's mute because her husband died years back in a car accident. I think she lost her husband and a child in the car accident, so she stopped speaking. But she was obsessed with Harrison Ford, and he was obsessed with Ali Starlings. And they end up falling in love and getting married and going off to Vegas. And then he decides, to go straight with his new bride, and her name is, I know her name is Harrison. She has kind of an interesting name, just like Harrison Ford, but she goes by Harrison. And then he ends up going to Dallas to be a projectionist again, and lo and behold, he runs into Ali Starlings and ends up like taking her hostage and all this stuff, and there's a big SWAT team kind of thing at the end. He ends up getting killed, and I used Sun Kill Moon, Carry Me Ohio for the ending credits. I thought it was kind of a pop culture kind of film. Also, it's kind of a little bit about addiction too, because Ali Starlings, when she first meets the projectionist, who is Adair Martin, that's his name, she offers him meth and everything, so he gets kind of addicted. But he gets addicted to her, and then he ends up I thought about maybe maybe changing the ending and have an alternate ending where it was kind of like you know, they instead of sniping him, and I think it was in a hotel room, but it switches to like a townhome because I wanted to use the area that I was at. So he goes to the hotel and she's not there, and then he goes to the townhome and she's there. And you know, it's a little bit about stalking and things like that. But it's interesting. I used this right here. It's a good song. I do have the script though, if you're interested, or if you're a producer and you hear about it, you want me to send it to you. It's kind of a childlike quality. Like at the beginning part when Adair is in Fort Worth, he goes to like an Oktoberfest kind of thing, but they call it Hitchcock Fest, where they show Hitchcock movies and it's around Halloween. He explains a movie that his brother was in, who was in with did the film with Allie Starlings. That's how he ended up becoming obsessed with her. You have to read the script. It's pretty raw at certain aspects of it. It kind of shows how sometimes drugs, especially women that end up on drugs, how they sometimes they're not careful with how they deal with certain kind of men and stuff like that may be more innocent, and that can get them sometimes in trouble. And it ends in like a kidnapping kind of situation and stuff. I'm trying to think what movie it's kind of like. 1 Hour Photo is another one with Robin Williams was in it. 1 Hour Photo was a little bit like that. There's a few of them that's kind of like that. But it's got kind of a thriller kind of feel. But if you listen to this song, Under Your Spell, you get kind of the feel of the film. But it's called The Projectionist, the film that I wrote, I wanted to do, and attempted to do the feature here. We actually shot in the Castle Hills area. We filmed in this area. Daniel Lunt and I did when I first got here and stuff. I started this script in Cleanest Ranch in Irving when I was doing a Richard III showcase play, a Shakespeare showcase out in Dallas. I played Richard III, and that's how I met Daniel. And then we decided to go forth with it. And I guess we're still waiting for the green light on it, but anyway. It's called The Projectionist. It's kind of a thriller. So one aspect about Harrison's character, the Asian lady that didn't, she's a mute, is her name is Harrison Staples. When she lost her husband and her child in the car accident, she kind of blamed herself for that, for not being there when it happened. And you see a moment where they're driving in the desert and a song is playing. I had a whole soundtrack and everything that was in the script, and you see kind of a close-up shot of kind of a realization that now she's starting over, and she falls in love with Adair Martin because they meet a therapy group. She Harrison Staples is obsessed with Harrison Ford, and Adair Martin is actually obsessed with Allie Starlings, and that's how they meet, because he's ordered by the LA court to go to therapy for obsession, right? So it's kind of about that too. So it's about obsession. I think it's a good script, and then you meet all these other people. One lady's obsessed with Marlon Brando, and all these other people are obsessed with these different stars, and they have a therapy group and stuff. And then later, they run off to Vegas and get married, and then it ends up with him going back into the obsession when he goes back to Dallas, and he runs into Allie Starlings, and then, he ends up kidnapping her, and then it ends with SWAT getting him. I could change it where they just, take him away. But it starts off with actually him getting arrested off Mulholland Drive. Well, towards the front part of it. Packing the snow globe right here. And I found this over here. It's a feather that I was talking about. These feathers keep showing up. I don't have any downy or anything.